This is the City of Waupaca, first Tuesday of the month, City Council meeting.
We have a public hearing that we have to go through to begin with. Let me know if you can't hear me or understand me, but I'll just try and talk in a normal voice here. So the notice that went out is a notice, it's a resolution number 1449. This is a resolution to discontinue the right-of-way located in the city of Waupaca. And this is a public hearing to hear whether people are in favor of this and they want to make testimony in favor of or opposition to this vacation of this land. And Justin, would you just explain what we're talking about, where we're vacating the street?
Property vacation is just down the street here on Union, just east of here. That is for the Bank First project. So there's actually an alleyway that was shown or provided in a previous meeting that showed where our public right-of-way was, and it's basically the Bank First driveway. I think maybe Aaron's queuing it up now. We have right-of-way there. It's deemed no longer necessary for public travel. And along with the Bank First project and their renovation expansion, we're just vacating that right away.
So Justin, there's a map, but it's in our packet and will be under unfinished business, I believe. So see the map then.
Yep, that's, I believe, the first action item.
All right, thank you, Justin. And just for the public to know, the public had the opportunity to call into the clerk's office and ask to be on this to either give testimony in favor of or in opposition. We did not receive any.
I did not.
No, me neither.
Okay. And we also have we're using library meeting room A, is that, or B? Okay. Library meeting room A, where guests could attend the meeting and they would be able to see what's going on the TV screen that's in there. And I just walked in there before I came in here and there is nobody in there. And we can actually get a picture of them. And we were watching that. So we have nobody in there at that time. So do we have anybody that's in the council chambers that would like to give testimony in favor of the vacation of this street? Any testimony in favor? Any testimony in opposition to the vacation of this street? And as Aaron said, we are going to act on this resolution once we open up the council meeting. So I'll declare this hearing closed at 6:04 p.m. All right, let's go to the city council meeting itself. Again, welcome everybody. We have our first meeting where we're physically meeting in the council chambers since March. We are also allowing people and want people to attend that feel uncomfortable with meeting in the council chambers to meet teleconferencing basically or video through what's called Microsoft Meetings. And we do have 3 council members that are attending, plus a couple of staff, department heads that are also on the line if we have any questions or if they have any questions. I don't think we have anybody else through meetings.
I do not believe so. Looks like Beth Christensen is on as well.
Okay. All right, so Beth Christensen from the airport is on here too. And we also have, of course, Angie has made it here tonight from the County Post, and we have Julie Iden who's going to be giving a presentation to us in just a few minutes. So I'll call this meeting to order. It's 6:06 p.m. and let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Sandy, if you want to read the clerk's open meeting statement for us.
This meeting and all other meetings of the Common Council are open to the public. Proper notice has been posted and given to the media in accordance with Wisconsin state statutes, so the citizens may be aware of the time, place, and agenda of this meeting.
And roll call.
Brian Smith,
Here.
Steve Hackett,
Here.
Lori Chestnut,
Here.
Paul Hagan,
Here.
Alan Keeland,
Here.
Scott Perchatsky,
Here.
Dave Peterson,
Here.
Paul Mayo,
Here.
Dimitri Martin,
Here.
Mary Fair,
Here.
and Eric Olson.
Here.
10 present, we have a quorum.
All right, in front of you, you have a consent agenda, which is fairly small. If there's any of those items that you would like to see put on the regular agenda where we act on those on a separate motion, this would be the time for you to ask to have those moved. Is there anybody that would like to see anything on the consent agenda moved? We'd be looking for a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Olson, second by Fair, that we approve the consent agenda as printed. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Against? Motion carried. All right, next up, we have a regular agenda, and Sandy tells me what you received is the agenda that we're going to work off tonight. There's no additions or deletions to that, so we would be looking for a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
I got a motion by Peterson,
Second.
second by Chestnut, that we approve the regular agenda. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Sorry, I got to go slow. Motion carries. Okay, under non-agenda items and announcements, we have a presentation of the Waupaca Library 2019 report, and Julie Iden is here tonight. She's the library president, and she will make the presentation. And Julie, before you start, if I can just tell the council members a couple of things that we're doing tonight. One, you'll notice that we're using the screens a lot more tonight. You'll see that Aaron is running. He'll put the agenda up there as we go through it. We'll probably skip back and forth and get a look at some of the council members as they're talking too. But you'll see that, and right now it's under the control of the library, of course, because they're going to show their annual report up there. And also department heads, as you saw when I asked Justin to make a comment, since they do not have a microphone, we will ask them to step up to the podium, and so that we're still getting it on the microphone if we ask them any questions. So give them time, if you ask them questions at a later time, to get up to the podium and respond to you. Okay, anybody have any questions about how we're doing things so far? Pretty normal. Julie, Peg, do you want to introduce her? Sure. Okay. You can, yep. You might have to turn it on. Should turn green there if you.
This is Julie Iden's second year as president, although she was president many years ago for 4 consecutive terms. And she's to talk about what happened last year at the library. And this is our annual report, as well as some information about our strategic planning process. Thank you.
So please keep in mind as we move forward that this is from 2019, and it's a bit delayed because of what we've gone through in the last couple of months. Today, I'm going to share with you our 2019 annual report. The report is submitted to the state every year and includes statistics collected by the library staff through OWLS, which is the Waupaca Library System. The mission, vision, values of the library provide a framework for the ways in which we meet our community needs. This past year, in 2019, we involved the community in a strategic planning process. As a result of that process, we adapted our mission and values to include connectedness. The new 5-year plan that's been approved will guide us to more fully meet the needs of our community. Our new vision is to become a community resource that promotes innovation, technology, collaboration, connectedness, and all forms of literacy. Again, remember that this is about 2019. Things have drastically changed in the last couple of months, but this is specifically looking at 2019. We have over 9,900 registered borrowers at the library. The city of Waupaca has just over 6,000 people, and over half of them have library cards, and that number has increased in 2019. The non-city resident borrowers are mainly from the 4 townships that surround the city, as well as people from Portage and Waupaca counties. The library is regularly open 6 days a week for a total of 57 hours. Our strategic plan calls for an increase in hours to better serve the public, and already we've added an extra hour on Friday evenings. That happened in January. The average daily visits in 2019 was over 375 people, with an average checkout of about 5,400 items a week. That's about 900 items per day. The residents of the city of Waupaca are tied with the surrounding towns for 38% of the total population. When our community built the new library in 1993, our name was changed from the Waupaca Free Public Library to the Waupaca Area Public Library. Using a formula provided by the state standards, our service population is calculated as roughly 15,837 people. The area served by the school district of, basically the area served by the school district of Waupaca. Waupaca County and Waupaca counties reimburse the city for the use of the library by their residents. Portage County residents make up about 9% of our total circulation. This past year, we campaigned diligently to make our Portage County patrons aware of the funding gap. While we are unable to gain funding directly from Portage County, we did see an increase in donations from people that live in Portage County. People in our community are big borrowers and enjoy the convenience of being able to get materials through delivery provided by OWLS, the Waupaca Library System. Our library also provides a corresponding number of items to neighboring libraries. About 23% of items checked out traveled to our library from another library in our system. As indicated by the arrows, both of these numbers increased in 2019. Over 1/3 of the items checked out were for children or teens. The library has a strong relationship with our school district and a delivery system that allows our school librarians, teachers, and students direct access to the resources in our library. We are a convenience-driven society, and we have seen a shift in the way patrons interact with the library. In 2008, Renewals made up only about 5% of the total circulation. In 2019, 1/4 of all checkouts can be attributed to Renewals. With up to 3 renewals, a patron can have an item from 4 weeks to 4 months. Renewals are allowed over the internet, in person, over the phone, or via text message. People are still choosing to download books and listen to audiobooks that have been downloaded. With a 20% increase in 2019, we can attribute 19% of the use of e-audio books. We have seen a commensurate decrease in the use of audiobooks on CD, and new cars are not being released with CD players, and many households no longer have a way to play books on a CD. It is convenient to download a book onto your smartphone and listen in a car or while enjoying other activities. Hands-free reading has become a popular way to gain knowledge or entertainment while reading with your ears. In 2019, Waupaca County adopted a new 5-year plan for providing library service to the residents who live in municipalities without a library. This plan includes funding for downloaded materials as a measure of use. The funding is to be phased in over the next 5 years. In 2019, we saw an increase in circulation of physical items over the previous year. This was the first increase experienced since 2012. In years past, we've seen a dramatic increase in downloads and corresponding decrease in the circulation of physical materials. This is not a new phenomenon. This chart illustrates the decline and increase in circulation of physical items over the last 10 years. It is also true that when the economy is bad, people turn to libraries for their information and entertainment. Conversely, when the economy thrives, the services that the library provides are used less by the community. As our circulation has shifted to downloadable books, the audiovisual materials budget has adjusted to this change. This chart demonstrates the use of the internet on computers provided by the library and patrons connecting to our free Wi-Fi. 2019 was the first year we saw a significant number of people connecting via Wi-Fi instead of using computer workstations inside the library. The cost of devices has come down, the cost of data has come down, and the places that provide free Wi-Fi access has increased. However, the library is one of the few places with free Wi-Fi that's not asking that you purchase a product. According to the Pew Research, the vast majority of Americans, 96%, now own a cell phone of some kind. The share of Americans that own smartphones is now 81%, up from just 35% in Pew Research Center's first survey of smartphone ownership conducted in 2011. Whether looking for employment, obtaining forms for their taxes, keeping up with family and friends, or using online banking services, our computers allow access that many individuals and families cannot afford or is unavailable in their location. Owls has assisted with gaining bandwidth twice in the last 2 years. Teach subsidizes the cost to provide data lines to schools and libraries. The library utilizes tablets for catalogs and has a collection of Chromebooks that are used for programming. Other devices such as robots are used for coding games, and they use Wi-Fi also. While the library provides materials and access, it is ultimately a service organization. We have approximately 15 FTE, including building maintenance and cleaning staff. We pride ourselves on a high level of customer service that we are able to provide. Our staff help community members find the right resources, whether for entertainment or educational purposes. We select, order, receive, and process new materials. About 5,100 new items were added in 2019. Library staff are highly trained to use technology that allows them to help patrons with their technical questions. Other operating expenses also include building expenses of about $100,000. When we think of library services, we think of them as free. They really are not free. City and county tax dollars support library wages, programs, materials, and services. Waupaca County residents pay for library services through their county tax bill. Waushara County residents use our library, and Waupaca County is billed for that use. However, the current city dollars budgeted for the library is less than that was budgeted in the last 5 years. The income other than taxes is derived from copies, overdue fees, grants, and donations. We are fortunate in the library to have 2 nonprofit agencies that support our efforts. A big thanks goes out to the Waupaca Library Foundation and Friends of the Library, and all of those in our community that give donations. But we aren't just about staff. Programs are held for all ages. Excuse me, we're not just about stuff and materials. Programs are held for all ages. Children's programming, literacy, and learning opportunities are the focus of the Children's Department. We assist adult patrons with lifelong learning. Self-directed or drop-in programs allow for greater flexibility. There's always something fun and educational going on at the library. The strategic plan has given us a new direction to make connections and be inclusive. The library is a gathering place where people of all ages can find someone with a common interest. It is a place for civil discussion on important topics, a place to learn something new. Our new initiative towards connectedness has led us to new environments, bringing service to other places. We invite children, families, and individuals to have fun in the library while gaining early literacy and coding literacy skills. Taylor Wilcox, the teen librarian, has brought new ideas, programs, and new kids to the teen room. She has started 2 new book clubs, provides interactive gaming opportunities, and makes suggestions on what kids should read next. She has been invited into the schools for book talks. We strive to make the library an interactive place. We start conversations with our whiteboards. We engage people in playing games and encourage reading and learning at every age. The final entry of the annual report includes a statement from the library board addressing the support that OWLS provides our community. The funding for OWLS is provided through state taxes and is the only state tax for public libraries. OWLS provides support for continuing education, technology, electronic resources, engagement tools, county funding, and youth services. Our mission, vision, and values are the guiding principles for the important work the library does with our community. Last year, the library board adopted a new strategic plan with these goals as the foundation. And that concludes my presentation. If there are any questions that either myself or Peg could answer?
Any questions? Peg, any other additional comments you want to make?
No, I think the presentation says it all.
Yeah, I think it was very good. Julie, excellent job. Thank you, appreciate that. Peg, this will be on the city's website, or where will this be?
It's housed on the library website, so you can get to it from there. We can certainly provide a link on the city website too.
That would be great if you would do that. Let's make it easy if people want to see it. Okay, anything else?
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Julie.
Okay, next up. Next up, we have public input. We did not have anybody that asked to speak on public input tonight. And again, we made it very clear that if you would like to speak to us on a non-agenda item, that you could make an appointment and you could come to this meeting tonight, or you could do it through Microsoft Teams by requesting access to that. We gave opportunities for anybody and everybody that that wanted to speak to come to to have the opportunity to speak. Is there anybody in the council chambers that has a non-agenda item that they would like to speak about?
Yes,
Dave?
just more for information for the public. Last night I attended a meeting of the BABA, that's the Badger Amateur Baseball Association, of which the Waupaca Lakemen are participants. We're one of 26 teams in the BABA. It extends from probably North Antigo, South Green Lake, maybe West Plover and East Shawano, something like that. 4 divisions, 26 teams. Of course, we're hung up with, will we play baseball this summer or not? The high schools and everything is shut down. We had our meeting last night, and it was determined because of all the, just so many different things. Some towns can't get on their field yet, some can. How do you control social distancing, concession stands, revenue, 50 people, 100 people, dugouts? I mean, there's really lots to think about. That would be true for Little League, and the American Legion all across the country shut down as well this year. So the BABA, which would be our 75th year, decided to cancel the season. There will be no BABA regular season games this year. We'll resume next year, call it our 75th year. There are some teams that have played. There's 2 different teams in Shawano. They played each other Sunday. So teams that want to play and have permission from the county, there's 8 counties, by the way, in that area. Of course, many different regulations. So because of all the confusing and yes, you can, no, you can't, some can, some can't, the BAB just shut it down and will do their 75th year next year. The Lakemen have practiced, and if they were able to, at some point, open up enough to have a game, we would play games. Whoever could come, some other teams could come, would be willing to, but that all has to be worked out through safety regulations. So that would be my information that I have for everybody.
Thanks, Dave. Remind me again, who was the 2019 grand champions again?
That would be the locals.
Any other public input? All right. Let's move on then to unfinished business.
Paul Hagan.
Is now exiting.
Okay, under unfinished business, we have ordinance number 05-2020. This is an ordinance placing permanent zoning classification on lands annexed to the city of Waupaca. This is actually the second reading, and I don't know, Aaron or Justin, you want to just remind us again what we're talking about, which properties?
Yeah, absolutely. So this would be the Fable property, and that is going from the temporary, so this is on Grand Seasons Drive. This would be going from the temporary zoning of A1 or Ag to B4 or Strip Commercial District. This is the second reading. We had this during our last council meeting as well. We have not received any input with concerns or in favor or either. So this would be the second reading, and voting on this tonight would bring that into the B4 district within the city of Waupaca.
All right, so again, since this is the second reading, we can, unless you well, we're looking for a motion to approve this ordinance.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Chestnut, second by Prochatsky, that we approve ordinance 05-2020. This is an ordinance placing permanent zoning classifications on lands annexed to the city of Waupaca. It's the Fable lease, which is on Grand Seasons Drive. Any discussion? Sandy will call the roll.
Steve Hackett,
Aye.
Lori Chestnut,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Alan Keeland. Alan Keeland.
I didn't hear him, but.
Oh, he's on.
Thumbs up, okay. Scott Perchatsky,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Dimitri Martin,
Aye.
Mary Fair,
Aye.
and Eric Olson.
Aye.
10 ayes, motion carried.
Thumbs up is the new eye. Okay, so you can all do that now. Next, we have, and this is what we had at the public input. This is resolution number 1449, 2020. This is a resolution to discontinue the right-of-way located in the city of Waupaca, Waupaca County, Wisconsin, and this is property, the road just right behind Bank First, where you drive in to go through the drive-through. That was still an alleyway. Don't know why years ago it wasn't vacated, but they found it when they were going through the process, so they're just asking for this to be vacated at this time through this resolution. Any questions on that? Thank you. Aaron has it on the screen too, by the way, so you can see that. You know, we haven't made a motion yet, but one of the things I think that's really cool is that we've all learned a lot more about technology, and we're taking advantage of the technology that we feel is going to be really helpful to us. There's some technology we probably don't want to see again, but this has been really helpful to be able to use the screen so that we can all see what's going on, and also get people the ability to access us remotely is really a good thing too that's come out of this. We need a motion to approve resolution 1449.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Martin, was it? I'm sorry, no, Mayo, I'm sorry. Can't see your mouse. Second by Olson, that we approve resolution number 1449. Discussion? Sandy will call the roll.
Steve Hackett,
Aye.
Lori Chestnut,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Alan Keeland,
No, sorry. There we go.
Thumbs up.
There's the thumb.
Scott Perchatsky,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Dimitri Martin,
Aye.
Mary Fair,
Aye.
and Eric Olson.
Aye.
10 ayes, motion carried.
All right, next we have, under new business, we have resolution number 1458. This is a 2020 airport 6-year plan, 6 AIP plan. And Paul Hagan, this is on page 29 and 30 in your packet. Paul Hagan, you're up.
Right. Onto the study of the packet, there's this looking at airport improvements. We're looking around a few things due to the change in the runway reconstruction. The main difference being the design and build of additional airport hangars in 21 and 22. And we'll make a motion for approval.
Okay. Beth, are there any additional things that you wanted to talk about this resolution? I know you're on, so.
Not really. Go ahead.
Nope, you're up. Beth.
Okay, I didn't know if it was me echoing back or not. So we're looking at, because, again, like what Paul said, because we cannot do the runway project or anything, and we're looking at trying to increase revenue at the airport. That's why we kind of finagled some stuff around. So we're looking at designing the T-hangar buildings and getting a T-hangar up so we can help generate revenue at the airport. And with securing the snow removal equipment and the reimbursement for that M4000 upgrade, that is for a fuel terminal. So that's already in the process and was okayed as of last year. So as of the runway project, we're looking at, it's a possibility it could come back in the future, but at this point, it's on hold until we know otherwise. Other than that, that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Beth. So, Paul Hagan, did you make a motion to approve resolution 1458?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so we need a second.
Second.
Motion by Hagan, second by Perchatsky, that we approve resolution 1458. This is the airport improvement plan, 6-year plan. Any discussion? Sandy will call the roll.
Steve Hackett,
Wait.
Lori Chestnut. Aye. Paul Hagan, Alan Keelan. Alan Keelan. Scott Perchatsky.
Aye.
Dave Peterson.
Aye.
Paul Merrill.
Aye.
Dimitri Martin.
Aye.
Mary Fair.
Aye.
And Derek Wilson.
Aye.
10 ayes, motion carried.
All right, Paul, thank you. Beth, thank you. Next up, we have a proposed plan to reopen the public facilities, and you can find this on page 31 through 38, and I'll turn it over to Aaron.
All right, thank you, Mayor Smith. Council members, of course, you guys remember in late March, there was a vote to close many public facilities due to COVID-19. We've been working through a lot of different changes that you guys have all been involved in over the last however many weeks it's been, 10, 11 weeks. And this is something that we talked about a little bit at our last council meeting, and then finally got something on paper. And that was last Tuesday, so right after Memorial Day. We had a department head meeting that morning, and we discussed an original outline of opening our facilities back up and how that could look in a phased approach. Over the course of the next 2 to 3 days after that, I was able to receive some input from our department heads, made some tweaks on some of those phases. Primarily, the input came from Peg at the library and Andrew at the Recreation Center. And I do want to state, I think it's important to note that we're still under that Waupaca County Public Health Order. So if we open our facilities, we are required to meet the WEDC guidelines. And over the last few weeks, we've been working with Russ Montgomery, our facility superintendent, has been working hard at ordering facilities. Justin has been working with him to, ordering PPE or personal protective equipment. Those are parts of those requirements, and that stuff is just not easy to come by right now. So we were able to get what we feel like we need in place to not only protect our staff, but also to protect the customers and the patrons that are using our facilities to at least enter into a phase 1. Also want to remind everyone that the WEDC guidelines and that current public health order from the county is in place until June 15th. We don't know what it's going to look like after June 15th from a county standpoint. We expect to hear something around this weekend or early next week. They said it'd be about 5-6 days before that deadline, in which they probably were going to know what it would look like afterwards. So obviously, we wanted to make sure that we were abiding by everything, and we feel like these phases do that. What I'm going to do here is, first of all, I guess before I even get into this, I want to thank department heads. I want to thank our cleaning staff and Russ. It's been extra work and probably has felt a little stressful at times for everybody, and I can recognize that, and everyone has been great to work with as we've moved throughout this. So thank you guys for that. So I'm just going to go through this a little bit. So phase 1, if you haven't read it in your packet yet, this is on page 34 as we follow along. Phase 1, City Hall would be open to the public in pre-safer at home capacity, regular hours, 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. This is kind of been the movement at city halls around the area, other municipalities. You know, we felt like City Hall operates not that different from if we were to go in appointment only base, which you'll see in some of the other facilities in phase 1. So we felt like we could open on a regular basis, and we felt like that was in line with what other city halls in the area are doing in that beginning of June timeframe. We also felt like we could open on a regular basis and still follow all those WEDC guidelines, which is why you see that suggestion come forward We will be limiting kind of the contact areas. All of the precautions will be taken that we've been taking for staff over that time period. So that would be through June 16th. Waupaca Area Public Library, I could talk about this, Peg, but you were in attendance, and if you want to talk about it, I'm sure you'd do a better job than I would, so.
So when we started to examine the services that we're able to provide, we can provide materials, we can provide online resources. The one thing that we can't provide are devices. So we decided that the next step really needs to be allowing people to use public computers. And so that's going to start happening tomorrow. We are asking that all of the people who come in to use those public computers sign a waiver, so that if contact tracing does become necessary, we will have that information. That information would not be shared except with the health department at the county level unless it had to be. So it will be kept on file but not shared. That's a big thing for us because confidentiality policy is a piece of law in the state statutes. So that information will not be shared unless it becomes necessary. And they're signing that, saying that they're willing to allow that to happen. When they make an appointment, we go through a series of questions to make sure that they understand what it's going to be like when they come in to use the computers. We are asking that they wear a mask. And if they have a medical reason that they can't wear a mask, we will try and make accommodations when they can be there when no one else will be around. All of our computers have been distanced so that there are only actually 4 computers available at a time. And we've staggered those appointments so that we can accommodate about 4 people every hour and a half. And that gives us a little bit of time for cleaning between use and for anybody who would need to finish up work. So then the rest of that you can see. There is a copy of the waiver that is linked to this report. So if you want to see that, that's there. If you want to make an appointment, we just ask that you call the library. We'll go through those rules and we'll get you in when you need to use the library. And that's our phase.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Peg.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. The Recreation Center, this is, Andrew, if you're on, I'll let you go through this as well, since Peg went through the library, if you're listening.
Yes, I appreciate that because I found something we forgot to change here. And so I don't know if we can make a small change on this before approval as I talk through this. Are you okay with that, or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
what
So the
you say, Mr.
Recreation
Whitman.
Center and the Senior Center offices will be open by appointment only, and this is just for administrative purposes, such as getting garbage tags in our office, or if a senior needs some resources that we can help with. They won't be allowed to just wander through the building or touch anything at that point. People can do that by calling the rec center. The one change, or the changes I'd like to see on there, Aaron, would be park shelter rentals are actually canceled through June. We'll reevaluate in July and hopefully start to allow those. And the beach will be unstaffed until June 16th. So we just got that date mixed up in the sentence there. And then we are going to try to staff the South Park Beach starting June 17th, following all safety precautions and cleaning precautions that are set forth at that time.
Thanks, Andrew. And in essence, I guess the park shelter rentals being remained closed through June 16th, they will be remain closed through June 16th.
Yeah.
Andrew is correct. I think we have it in phase 2, where it would be also closed through part of phase 2 until we get to that July 1st date.
Okay.
And I think that's noted in there as well. But I saw that too, Andrew. Good catch. I did see that earlier today when I went through this again.
So the beach, will continue to be unstaffed, but we will try to open it in phase 2 or staff it in phase 2. And that's everything for phase 1. If you guys didn't see, we just went into a severe thunderstorm warning about 2 minutes ago. So just a heads up.
We're in a good spot in the basement.
Yep.
Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate that. I will go through all of phase 2 for library and recreation center. Sorry, hold on. I lost my spot here. City Hall would continue, just as I outlined in Phase 1. Phase 2, guys, would be effective, as you can see here, June 17th through July 7th. And these phases were built around council meetings. So as things change, we can make those tweaks, and it may look a little bit different when we come forward on the June 16th meeting. Now, I also thought it was important that, and we all thought it was important that we showed, what the plan was. We do anticipate it looking a lot like this Phase 2 and 3, or we hope so. But as I'll mention at the end here, we're only voting on Phase 1 tonight. So City Hall in Phase 2 in that time period outlined would continue with operations as outlined in Phase 1. The Waupaca Area Public Library would resume pre-safer at home hours of service. As you can see there, Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., Friday 10 to 6, and Saturday 10 to 2. Curbside service and computer use by appointment only will continue with increased service hours. The Recreation Center, park shelters, start to get into some capacity things here. So maintaining social distancing practices and all recommended guidelines while allowing people to use the gym areas. 10 people per half gym, 20 people per full gym. Equipment would not be shared equipment. People would be asked to bring their own. Locker rooms would continue to remain closed. And those types of actions at the Recreation Center. Again, Andrew touched on this as well, but the park shelter rentals would be open during this phase on July 1st, and then South Park Beach would be staffed. We're ramping up to do that. We know people are using the beach, and we want to get lifeguards hired and out there, making sure that that's a safe activity for people. We also want to make sure that we are preparing to possibly run swim lessons if we're allowed to at that point for session 2. We'll get into that a little bit too. The senior center, the computer lab would be available with a maximum capacity of 4 people by appointment. Toenail clinic would be available by appointment only. Pool tables and cards would not be available during this time, and other organized events would not be during that Phase 2. Phase 3, the Waupaca Area Public Library would continue to pre-safer at home hours of service. And then just kind of as stated in Phase 2, but patron browsing and collection would be allowed. Patrons would be asked to wear a mask and sign that waiver that Peg talked about, limited to 30 total patrons, and no one under the age of 16. Lower level and teen room would be open for browsing. And I know there is a standard, a square footage standard for libraries that is set by DPI. Am I correct in saying that, or someone else?
I think it was based on our fire code. They said, this is the way that you can be
Okay.
physically distant if you have so much square footage.
Okay, and I know Peg took that into account when looking at this. The Recreation Center would be open for normal functions while following all CDC and Waupaca County Health guidelines. Guys, it's hard to, what will that be? Hard to say at this point, but the thought is to try to get it back to normal operations in July as much as possible. Status of organized programs would depend on the guidance from DHS, Waupaca County Public Health, and insurance providers, as well as legal advice. So before I get into that, I guess, I do want to talk about the parks programs as well, as it's kind of a hot topic here. Parks programs takes a lot of staff, a lot of prep, a lot of registration, things like that. So now this isn't getting formally voted on here, but I do want to let you know what Andrew and I have talked about. Parks programs would be, I think Andrew wants to make an announcement that they would be canceled at least to the beginning of the Phase 3 here, so right after 4th of July. And then we'll see kind of where the next county public health order is. I know we're itching to provide things for people, but we want to do so in a safe way. So we also want to make sure that we can do so per the county health guidelines and not open ourselves up to a bunch of liability and things like that. So Andrew is planning on making a statement tomorrow to all of his users that say, hey, we're not going to run any programs until that first part of July. We'll see what the county health order says and go from there. Obviously, impacts that can alter all of these details in the phases are outlined there. The term of the future health orders, local spikes or decreases in the COVID-19 cases, inability to obtain the proper supplies that we need to meet the county orders, and any other factors deemed reason for change by you guys, Waupaca City Council. I do want to mention the cleaning efforts. It's important to note that the cleaning staff has remained flexible during this time, and they'll be cleaning these facilities 3 times per day, and you can see what those times are as outlined in this document. And then the use of masks. All public-facing employees will be required to wear masks. Residents and users of our facility will not be required, but strongly encouraged to wear a mask while visiting our facilities through phases 1 and 2 of this plan. Recommendations after phase 2 would be driven by county public health. I also put, just as PEG is doing, if a department head decides to require members of the public to wear masks in that specific facility, they're absolutely able to do so, and their staff will be kind of monitoring that and policing it. I do think it's important to state too that the way we have it set up right now, the counter areas are behind, those service areas are behind the plexiglass, so there are levels of protection for staff. I think that's important to note in that conversation. And then I also just put a note here on the policies that you guys put in place that we all voted on at our last council meeting for all committee and city council meetings, just as a reference here. So that's kind of an outline of where we sit today and where we're planning to go over the next month plus here. Again, that next county health announcement, hopefully in a week, will help tell us where we're at. So does anyone have any questions, concerns, anything I can help answer? I'm absolutely happy to do so.
Okay, so as Aaron has said, that starting tomorrow, if you approve it with a motion tonight, we will start phase 1. So you will see that City Hall will be open, and as he said, the library will be closed, except for by appointment only. So the lobby will be open. We're assuming public restrooms will be open, and the only public restrooms that we truly have in City Hall right now will be in the basement, the bathrooms between here and the library meeting room A, but those will be open and they will be cleaned, as you can see, that's written in here. If you have any questions as you think about it, don't be afraid to hesitate to contact Aaron about those. If you have any questions about phase 2 and phase 3, again, phase 2 and 3 were just put there so that you didn't think we weren't thinking forward. You know what I mean? We wanted to make sure that you knew that we were looking at what would happen after the 15th. So at this time, we'd be looking for a motion to approve phase 1 of the reopening of our public facilities.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Fair, second by Chestnut, that we approve of the reopening of the facilities outlined in phase 1, effective June 3rd through June 16th. Any discussion? Sandy will call the roll. Or, I'm sorry, we're doing a voice? All right. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Alan's got thumbs up. Okay, so that's 10 ayes. Motion carried. Under license reports, we have license report number 1499. That's on page 39 of your packet. And this is the time of year when we do inspections, and the renewals for all these licenses are as of July 1st. So you'll see most of them on this agenda. You'll probably see a few stragglers on our next meeting, but that's why you see so many of these, because they're due so they need to renew by July 1st. So we'd be looking for a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Peterson, second by Martin, that we approve of license report number $14.99, this is a Class B intoxicating liquor license, Class B fermented malt beverage license, Class A intoxicating liquor license, Class A fermented malt beverage license, and Class B fermented malt beverage license, and Class C wine license. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Against? Motion carried. License report number 1500, again, these just go along with these are July 1st through June 30th too, so we'd be looking for a motion to approve.
So move.
Motion by Hackett,
Second.
second by Chestnut, that we approve license report 1500. This is the arcade amusement device license. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Again, going along with this, we have 1501, the operator's license or the bartender's license. Again, you'll see a big list because that runs from July 1st through June 30th. So you'll see most of them on this list that are applying. We'd need a motion to approve.
So moved.
So move.
Motion by Peterson,
Second.
second by Fair, that we approve license report 1501. 1501. This is the operator's license. Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Against? Motion carried. And then we have license number, report number 1502, which is on page 45. This is the scrap dealer's license. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scrap dealer's license. Again, they run from July 1st through June 30th, so we're approving those ahead of time. We would need a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
So move.
Motion by Olson, second by Hackett, that we approve license number 1502, which is a scrap dealer's license. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Next up, we have communications recommendations of the mayor. Tomorrow at, is it noon? You're having a virtual Main Street meeting, and that will be on Facebook Live. You want to say anything about it? Any more than that? Justin? I'm pointing at Justin for you that can't see.
Yes, thanks, Mayor. So Aaron and myself will be conducting the fourth public information meeting regarding Main Street on Facebook Live. Try to, of course, keep it virtual and allow as many people to attend as possible. If people can't make it, well, they don't have a Facebook account or good internet access, there is that email, the public input at City Waupaca email. They can send that prior to or call us here at City Hall, and we'll respond to those questions during the meeting. Basically, it's going to be an overview of where we're at. We just submitted our 90% plan of Main Street to the DOT, so we have updated plans, so showing, hey, what it's going to look like moving forward. You know, this is the fourth one. We're required by DOT to have 2. We thought there's still some things lingering out there. People want to know, and we're going to help or just provide that and help clear some questions and take a few more comments at this point.
All right. Thank you, Justin. And I just want to remind council members, another thing that I think is really cool about technology that we've learned is that all of the meetings that we are going to have are going to be handled, hopefully in the council chambers. I think we've convinced most of the committees, but we're still going to offer them to everybody if they want to attend virtually. So council members, if you want to sit in on the City Planning Commission meeting tomorrow and you don't want to come down and attend personally, you can certainly join through Teams. I know Andrew Whitman has a Parks and Rec meeting on Thursday. Police and Fire Commission have a meeting next Tuesday, which they're gonna meet virtually anyways. Library is? The 17th, which will be after our next city council meeting. Any other meetings that I'm missing? Oh, yeah, Board of Review
Police and fire.
will be on the 10th at 10 o'clock in the morning. Again, if you just want to watch that virtually, you can watch us sit in here and twiddle our fingers.
10th of June,
No, I'm just kidding.
of June, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. One other thing I want to
Okay.
mention to all of you, not just council members, but staff and anybody else that's attending tonight. We're going to adjourn the meeting, shut off the cameras, and then I just want to say something to you real briefly once we shut the cameras off. Okay? All right. So we're looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Hagan, sorry. Second by Olson that we adjourn till our next regular scheduled meeting, which is Tuesday, June 16th, 2020, subject to call. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. We are adjourned at 7:02 p.m. Drive safe, especially those that have been meeting virtually.